Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness. I think we did it. I think we are actually live on YouTube today. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just going to wait for it to pop up on my tablet. Okay, well, it says it's beginning in 1 minute and 26 seconds. So I don't know. Maybe it's not live yet. Let me know if you can see me live. Let me know. Comment and let me know if you can actually see me. Good grief. Hang on 1 second here. Okay, let's see. Okay, it says you guys are saying I'm live. I'm just trying to find myself. So please hold 1 minute. Oh, good grief. Sorry. I'm getting there, friends. I'm getting there. I'm trying. I mean, I can see the video, but now I can't see the comments. I'm trying. Hang in there. Okay, thank you. I'm glad I'm live. So I know. Hi, hello. I'm here. I'm just trying so hard on my tablet here. Trying to find the comments and I can't. I don't know what's going on. Let me close out of YouTube. I'm so sorry, friends. Let me close out of this and jump back in. I'm sure it'll come up then. So I'm sorry, give me just 1 more minute, everyone. Okay, now I can see the live chat. I mean, I knew it was there. It was just giving me a little problem. No, Tammy, I think what happened was I don't know why. All of a sudden an ad for a company came up and I was trying to X out of it and it made me visit their site. And so then I lost the live feed. But it's all right. We're here now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, friends, you know, if you were here on Wednesday, you know that technology can give me stress. So deep breaths. We're here. We did it. We have fun cards to look at today. And I made a little sign just in case. But now we're here. So let me just check real quick. I just want to make sure that there aren't any issues. Tammy, I do see that you are a moderator, so that worked. So that's good. Yeah, in a month I'll be a pro. Yeah, exactly. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm excited about the cards that we are going to, well, me, am going to make today. Let me just give you a little preview. So this is an example of the accordion card that we are going to make today. I selected a few different patterns of Christmas papers to create these cards with. So I'll give you the dimensions. And then what happened was after I made a bunch of these, because I made about, I don't know, 60 or 70 to send out for thank you cards, I had a bunch of strips left over. And okay, so I had a bunch of strips left over from all of these cards. I'll show you why, because we'll cut one together. But I couldn't throw them away. And I thought, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cover a 12-inch piece of paper with these 12-inch strips, and I'll make something with those. I don't know what yet, but I'll make something. So I started using my strips and covering up extra paper, and then I came up with a whole series of cards kind of like this. And I really love these new snowflakes. I'll show you how they stamp and die cut, and there's actually masks to go with them. We'll look at all of that. So then I made cards like this. So I thought, okay, we'll just have like a double whammy today, and we are going to look at both the accordion cards and what I'm calling strip cards. I don't know. Do they have a better name than that? They might. But anyway, that's the roadmap. That's where we're headed. So I'll show you how to do the scoring and folding for the accordion cards, and then I'll show you how I did the strips and made strip cards. I don't know, that sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? I don't know. Leftover cart? No, I don't know. Well, we'll figure out a good name for them. But that's the roadmap, friends. And I'm so glad to be here on a YouTube live. So thank you to everybody who let me know that they enjoy YouTube lives more so than Facebook lives. So yay, we're here. We're doing it, friends. We are doing all the fun things today. And I was laying in bed last night. Well, actually, it was kind of the middle of the night because I woke up really early today. And I was thinking, I'll share this quick story with you while people are still jumping on the live. When I was young and we would go on family outings, usually driving to my grandparents' house or my aunt's house, or we went to Salt Lake City a lot to visit my great grandparents from Southern California. I always needed to know the plan. And my brother, who's 3 years younger, would tease me because every time we got in the car, I would be like, okay, what's the plan? Where are we headed? What time are we going to be there? How long are we going to be there? When are we coming home? What time will we be home? And I had to always know the plan. So I kind of became known as Patty Planner. And that is why when we come on to a live here together, I like to show you kind of the roadmap. I like to give you the plan. I like to show you where we're headed. I like to show you the supplies. I like to give you the instructions, and then I like to make it with you. And a lot of you have said that you really enjoy that kind of agenda. You like to know where we're headed as well. So that's what I do. And so here we are, friends. There's the roadmap, there's the plan, and you are with Patty Planner. Oh my goodness. All right. Hey, I just have a question. Did some random ad just pop up for all of you? Because this random ad just popped up right in the middle of what I was talking about. If it did, I'm going to have to figure out what that was and how to get rid of it. It did. Okay, I'm going to have to figure out how to get rid of that. All right, and I apologize for that, everyone. I don't know what that was about. I didn't do it, but I will figure it out and get rid of that. I think it has something to do with monetizing videos. So I apologize. It'll probably happen again, but I will definitely get rid of that for the future. Okay, some of you it did, some of you it didn't. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, just, one more thing to figure out. So, welcome everyone. My name is Patty Bennett. I share with you at pattystamps.com, and I have been blogging for about 20 years. You can find me at pattystamps.com to find my projects, to link to my online store, to sign up for my newsletters, to get a catalog, like whatever it is you need, you can kind of do that through my hub at pattystamps.com. And I appreciate you visiting me there. You'll find these accordion cards at pattystamps.com tomorrow, which will be September 20th. And then on the 21st, I will have all of the strip cards. Did I say it backwards? Accordion cards tomorrow on the 20th, strip cards on the 21st. So that's where you'll find, if you need to pin them, you'll find the photos, you'll find all of the supplies are actually on my blog today. So if you need to jump over there and shop after the live, you can do that. Or if you are watching this on a replay in the future, you can find all of the supplies today, September 19th, are there. They'll be repeated the next 2 days with the other projects. but we're using Peaceful Garden designer paper, which I did notice yesterday is actually out of stock for a bit. So I apologize. I didn't know enough ahead of time when I was doing these projects a couple weeks ago. We're also using the Elegant Pine Snowflakes paper and the North Pole delivery paper. Those are the three designer papers I used for these cards. And then, of course, various stamp sets and other accessories and ink and cardstock. So you'll find that on my blog today. Let me just show you some of these really cute North Pole cards. Aren't these adorable? This paper is so cute. I love that it has all the little die cut pieces that you can add, like these. Aren't those cute? I love that. And I used this new bundle. It's called Sign Design, and it does have a matching punch, but I didn't actually use the punch. I just stamped directly onto my die cut for those. So that's the North Pole paper. And then I have several samples here to show you if you use the Elegant Pine Snowflakes. I mean, that's kind of a mouthful, but that's what it's called. Depending on which pattern you use, you can get really beautiful combinations of colors and patterns. And I really like this accordion design because you see a bit of the other side and then you see one side. But if you look back here, you do see more of that other pattern. So just depending on which way you fold it, you will get to see different designs and patterns. I love this paper. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I really love it after having made all these cards. And if I forget to tell you, let me just show you right now because I might forget this later. This greeting, Most Wonderful Time of the Year, is from this background stamp that is in the annual catalog. And this stamp is actually 3 separate pieces. So I popped out the greeting. I haven't used the wreath portion yet, but that is where this stamp is found. And I thought this was a really great idea for these cards because it doesn't really make them Christmas. You could use these at New Year's. You could use them anytime in December. And I thought that was a fun greeting to pair with some snowflakes. So that's that. And then I also used the Peaceful Garden. Sorry, I'm just refreshing my memory over here. The Peaceful Garden paper, which has some patterns that are a little more Christmassy than others. This to me is just an all year round. And that's why I went with Big Hugs for a Good Friend and a floral image, because I thought this is any time of the year. This is whatever you'd like it to be. I used that on all of them. This one to me maybe is a little more Christmassy, or I thought this might make a really beautiful sympathy card. And then, I was just looking at it. I think, could you use this pattern for wedding, maybe for a wedding card? I don't know. Just kind of struck me. I guess it depends on, who you're sending it to. But these patterns really could be holiday-ish. They could just be winter. They could be almost any time of year. So I wanted to just show you how beautiful all of these look with the various patterns of paper. And then we'll just make a couple together and then we'll do the strip cards. So let me just check. Oh yes, YouTube membership doesn't have ads. Yes, exactly. Okay, well, I do apologize for that. It's always a learning curve. So, oh yes, Easter. Thank you, Mimi. Great idea. Baptism. Thank you, Jen. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I'm glad you like the accordion design, everyone. So the accordion design, I don't even know why I picked these dimensions, but what I decided to do was start with 5 1/4 high. Let's see if I can find, yeah, here's the same one, just so we can see what it looks like. 5 1/4 high so that we can mat it onto just a let's see, 4¼ by 5½ piece of cardstock. And then I left it at 12 inches, just because, you know, the paper comes 12 inches wide. And then I scored kind of randomly. I don't know why I even picked these dimensions. What I wanted was to see a little bit of the second pattern when you flap this flap shut. I wanted to see a little bit of the inside, and I just wanted to see, I don't know, both patterns. Beats me. This is so funny. So I pulled out like the only one that I forgot to put the die cut on the inside. All of these have a die cut on the inside so that you can write. That's hysterical. Well, let's see. Here's a piece. Let's fix it. Let's put this on the inside. That is so funny. The only one that was a goof. Oh, this glue might be almost empty. Hang on, let's grab this one. I always have multiple glues going at once because I want to be able to grab one that is not empty. So that one should go in the garbage, right? Yep, it should. Okay. Anyway, there we go. We're back in business. That's so funny. Oh, well, at least I crack myself up. I don't know if I crack anybody else up, but I crack myself up. Let's see. Oh, Nell, you forgot to sign in. I'm glad you're here now. So the only tip I need to give you is when you have a pattern like either of these that obviously has an up and a down. Okay, this one does not. So when you have a pattern like this, you can score it at these 3 dimensions. It doesn't matter which way your paper is oriented. But when you have a pattern that has a direction, here's a tip. You need to make sure that when you go to score the 4, 7½, and 10 3/4, you need to flip your paper upside down. So then it's upside down. You put this at the 4 and you score. Grab our dimensions here. You scoot it over to 7½ and you score, and you scoot it over to 10 3/4 and you score again. And that way, when you fold it up, you have your 4 inch, your 7½, and your 10 3/4, and that will give you the fold. And this is hysterical. This like almost lines up. I don't even know how that happened, but I think that's kind of funny. Anyway, so I'll show you that one more time. When you have a directional paper, you need to turn it upside down. I think you can still see those dimensions there. And you'll want to put it at 4 and score, 7½ and score, and 10 3/4 and score. And then when you fold it up, everything will be oriented in the correct direction. Okay? So there we go. That's how I did the scoring and the folding. And then I will put it on to, I have quite the bucket of stuff over here. So where might there be? We might just have to cut one of these because somehow I don't seem to have cut. Yep. Okay. We need to cut one of these in half. Then we just have our 4 1/4 by 5½ inch cardstock for the back. And you can see that it is going to layer. See, we have our border all the way around. So that will just layer perfectly. So I'm going to put that on first. And I like the liquid glue. You know, we say this all the time, but sometimes we have new viewers who don't know this. I like the liquid glue so that you saw me kind of move it around a little bit. We call it wiggle room. And then I can just sort of visualize that my border is equal all the way around. Then what I did is I die cut. This is a fabulous new set. This is the branching out dies. There are 6 different layers or sizes of these die cut labels. I used the middle 2. So I left the largest 2, I left the smallest 2. I die cut a million of them in white, just basic white cardstock. So there's the smaller of this one, and here's the larger of this one. And I stamped and applied the smaller one to the front, Big Hugs for a Good Friend, and this beautiful floral. Oh my goodness, I didn't get those out. Hang on. Really? Oh dear. Oh dear. Wait, I had to. No, I didn't. Oh dear. I'm losing my brains, friends. Losing all my brains. Where is that other set? Right here. Okay. Oh dear. Losing all my brain cells. Okay, this is the flower I used from Lovely Florals. And Peace on Earth is the stamp set that's in the suite with this paper. I really like this Big Hugs for a Good Friend. I feel like that's just such a good generic, really nice greeting. So let's get that one ready. And I absolutely love this flower. Truth be told, I bought this for 2 stamps in the whole set, the flower and the hello. I love those 2. Just love those 2. So I bought them just for that. I think I was so nervous about the YouTube live that I just forgot to get part of my supplies out, and I apologize that I didn't get them out ahead of time. I have Secret Sea for the greeting, and I have Misty Moonlight for the flower. Whoa. Well, that would have been fun. So, Misty Moonlight down here. And then you could use the same color of ink for both. You really could. But I wanted to make sure, Yep. I just wanted to make sure that my greeting was nice and bold. Big Hugs for a Good Friend. Just put my thumb in that. Okay, because I wanted to stamp this because I wanted to show you how I added it to this card. I used my trusty foam adhesive sheet pieces. You know, I love these. Let's see, is this a good one? That's a good one. Put those on the back. And then I just kind of used that as my way to seal this flap down. You could just put adhesive right here and only attach it to that flap if you wanted to. But I really wanted to just have this kind of stay shut. This flap right here. I wanted that to be shut and for it just to open like that. And then the larger of those 2 dies, I put, there goes my tummy growling again. Good grief. I really should have a snack right before the live because I don't know why I just get so starving. Okay. So then that goes on the inside. And you can put any embellishments you want. I used, I used up all my blue ones. Do I have an extra one right here? I do not. All right, let's pick a different one. I used the blue shimmer dots here. What else? What could we put on there? What should we put? Let me see if there's anything, if I grab a little handful here. I could use that. Could use that. Oh, look. You know what? I think that is the embellishment that goes with this suite. So, excuse my reach. Let's use those. Maybe it was a happy accident that I used up all the other ones, huh? I think it was. By the way, I'm going to make some of you happy. So, you know, you've seen me using this, what I call like the dental pick for our take a pick tool. Okay, I've had the knife blade on the end of this forever and ever. And several of you have commented, like, put the cap on there, take the knife off. You're all afraid for my safety, which is very valid. So I just took it off. I just unscrewed it and I ordered, it's not here yet, but I ordered another handle, and I'm going to leave the knife on a different handle, and I'm just going to keep this one like this because this is what I like for picking up the gems or embellishments. And I know that having the knife sticking out over here was making a lot of you super nervous. So I solved it. So this one only is my little embellishment picker. There. Does that make any of you happy now? So that is how I did the accordion card. And these dimensions, of course, will be there with all of the samples tomorrow so that you can take a look at those and see how those were created and pin them or, you know, whatever. Oh, good. Good. Y'all are happy. Yes. Yeah, Barbara, I'm glad you liked the tip for scoring because you can't score it the other way or else all of this will be upside down. Yeah, I'm glad you liked that. Oh, I'm glad you liked the DSP. Thank you, Sunny. Hi, Janet. Hello, everybody. Hey, Dawn. Yes, you're happy. Okay. Okay. So I hope that you enjoyed this design, this idea. Again, you can do it with any paper. I think it's really fun with this pattern that's just kind of your all over pine pattern, and then adorable, especially for kids if you're using some of those patterns. So that is the accordion card. Now let's quickly move over to the strip cards, and I'll give you a couple tips for those. So I'll show you, I was playing with other paper and other patterns because luckily I had been keeping a whole bunch of strips from when I was making some other cards. So here is the, oh gosh, this feels so thick. It's just one piece. Here is the leftover paper from this Peaceful, is it Peaceful Garden, I think? Yes, Peaceful Garden, from all of those cards. All those leftover strips from making those cards. And this is what it looks like when you add it to some willow white. Wait, white willow? I think it's a white willow. And then this is the floral, what was this called? Charming? Wait, Floral Charm. I knew it was close. And so I did one with like the purples and the blues, one that has more of the oranges and the blues and the greens. Here's another one with the purples. So I was just filling up these sheets, and I want to show you how I did that. I hope I left myself enough extra strips. I might actually, this is funny, I might actually have to cut some strips. Let's see. Let's see what we have left over here. Oh, we might have to do a tan one. There's a little strip. This is funny. I might not have even left myself enough scraps to show you how to do this. But you know what? You don't have to see the whole thing. I'll show you a couple tips and then I can finish this piece later. But since all of my scraps were 12 inches, I kept my white willow 12 inches long, but you can trim it down to 5 1/4 tall. You don't really have, oh, I see another one of those ads. Friends, I apologize for that. I'm going to have to figure that part out. You can trim down your 12-inch paper to 5 1/4 tall, because if you are going to add these pieces onto a regular folding card, then they only need to be 5 1/4 tall. So that's that part. And then what I did was I used my seal. You could do liquid adhesive. You could even put adhesive sheets onto the white paper. Whatever you would like to use. Okay, so the very first one, I just went ahead and added it right at the top. Okay, so there's the first piece. And then I tried to vary some of the widths. So I think we need a little more right here. So then I was trying to use up different widths, just kind of for interest. And if you want to work on your glass mat or a grid sheet to try to get these somewhat straight, you can. I didn't worry too much about that. Oh, I think that might be pretty. And then for a couple of the strips on each piece, I tore them. I know torn paper was like the big thing, shall we say, back in the day. Is that too silly to say that? But, you know, when I first started stamping, torn paper was quite the thing. I mean, it was the thing to do. And I think it's sort of, well, I'm bringing it back. If you all don't want it to be back, that's okay. But I think it's kind of fun to bring it back. Let me show you one paper that I was using. Oh, I guess I put it away. Hang on. It's this flower garden foil. And there's yeah, don't put it on top of the adhesive. There's different patterns and different colors of this foil. And I pulled out some of this. Let me see. Does it actually have a color name? Oh, it's cloud cover. They say it's cloud cover. So I pulled out some of the cloud cover and I added it to a few of my strip card pieces. And I think it turned out really pretty. It's just a fun add. And so you just keep building up. Got that a tiny bit crooked. There. You just keep layering and building up. So let's go back to those other ones that I showed you. And then when your piece is completely filled up, like these are, with your different patterns and your different, patterns. Yeah, that's a word, right? Then all you have to do is cut it into 3 pieces. Super simple. So you just put it at 4 and scoot it over at 4 again. Then you have 3 card front size pieces. And pick out whatever colors. I was kind of just going with the blues on this. Do I have, I wonder if peacock would look. I actually think peacock might look kind of pretty with that one. I think I might do one in peacock. And Misty, I think I'll do a couple in Misty. I had other colors out though, because when I cut up some of the floral charm paper, I was using some other card base colors. Didn't those turn out pretty? I really liked how those turned out when I added them to some other fun colors. So then all you need to do is add these to your card front. And then I'm going to show you what I did with all these beautiful snowflakes and where they came from. So we'll decorate. We might decorate too. So let's go ahead and add this to 2 of them. And I want to show you these snowflakes. They turned out so pretty. Sometimes when I make cards like this, it kind of is reminiscent of quilting. I like to think about, oh, one of those ads. I'm sorry, friends. I will get rid of them. I'm sorry. It reminds me of quilting, and I think it's really fun to think of this like fabric and piecing together different patterns and colors. So it reminds me of my mom and, you know, all that good stuff. And it just makes me happy. So let me show you these really beautiful snowflake options that I used on the cards and where they came from. I'll show you some of these pieces that I cut for snowflakes. So the Snowy Delight bundle has a stamp set. It has coordinating dies. I'll show you which ones I used. And it also has masks. And I have been making cards with the masks for the upcoming Christmas card class that Tammy and I are hosting. So, stay tuned for more ideas with the masks in the future. I did not use them on these, but you could. But what I did do was I stamped the large snowflake. You can see here, I stamped this large snowflake. And then I used this second to the largest die. And it just lines right up. Like that. You can see here that I cut this one out. And then you will get this beautiful die cut snowflake. If you wanted to stamp, or not stamp, sorry, use the masks to add designs to this, you can. But like I said, that will be in the future, a different video, because what I wanted to do was use this die. Right here, so you can see this die and this die. And I pulled out the glimmer paper that is in this Peaceful Garden bundle or suite. Okay, the glimmer paper, I used that. I used two-tone Misty Moonlight cardstock, so you can see it has the dark and the light. So Misty Moonlight two-tone. And then this is that foil that I was just showing you that we cut a strip of for the strip card. So I used some of this beautiful cloud cover foil. And that is with both of these dies. Hold on, I have to put it back on the magnet sheet because it will disappear on my desk if I don't. So please hold real quick. Let me put it back. All right, now I'm happy. Whew. Okay, so look at how pretty these are. So when you die cut those with the foil, with the glimmer paper, look how beautiful these are. I mean, my goodness. My goodness. And then here's the two-tone. So you can see if you flip it upside down, you get two different colors to work with. Okay, so here's another foil. Here's another two-tone. And here's another two-tone. So we'll do the greetings in a second. That comes last. Then what I started to play with, and this is like paper dolls, my friends. This is like my favorite part. Then you can start putting different layers onto your snowflakes, and you can either line them up so that, do you see how that one lines up with the design? I'm going to show you. See those little edges, little designs, they line up, or you can turn it so that it's offset, which gives you like a fuller look. And then with this smaller one, you can line it up, or again, you can kind of turn it, kind of like building up a flower with petals. You could just keep turning until you get whatever look you want. Or maybe you start with this darker one, which I just love the way this looks. Let's get that lined up. Okay, look how pretty that looks when you line up that darker one. And then maybe you put, oh, I love this. Okay, that's my favorite right there. Look how pretty. So then you just sit and play. And that's the beauty of die cutting lots of different layers to begin with, so that you have all of these possibilities to play with. So then if we bring back in our strip card, and by the way, look, you could have just added it to that. That would be pretty as well. Anyway, back to this. So when I added these to the strip card, what I did was I used a piece of my foam adhesive sheet on the back. Actually, might be two here, because this is a pretty big die cut. Okay, I popped that up. And you can go, totally straight up and down. You can turn it a little. You can have it this direction, whatever you'd like. I don't even remember if I think I was a little brave. Yeah, I turned it just slightly on the samples that I made before. So instead of like what I would call totally matchy-matchy, I just turned it a little bit, stuck it down. And then because I added a greeting in the center of all of these, what I did was I just put adhesive right there, just right in the middle, just glommed it all on there. And then I stuck this layer on. I think I'm right about in the middle. Okay, so now that's going to stick, right? And then I put more adhesive there. Now we have to decide, do we want this lined up? Do we want it offset? I think I actually like it lined up that way, but you can play. It can, be however you want it to be. Okay, so then those are going to stick. And then whatever you want to do for your greeting, I thought it was kind of cool to die cut and punch out some of the glimmer. Even though we didn't use the glimmer snowflake, we'll introduce it with some of the glimmer. And I think I will put that on with another piece of foam adhesive sheet. And that just kind of like sandwiches or seals in those snowflake layers. They're loose out here, So they give a little dimension out there, but they're really sandwiched in there and they're sealed on there by putting that piece on. And I used Happy Winter. Let's see, that was from, I think it's called Snowflake Kisses. No, not this one. Yeah, Snowflake Kisses, Happy Winter. And I also used May the Chill of Winter Be Warmed by Love and Friendship. And if kisses were snowflakes, I'd send a blizzard. This is in the online exclusive. And I thought those were some fun, different greetings. And I just used scrap strips that I had and stamped it over and over and over. So I just did a whole bunch of them so that I had them ready. So you could do that on there. Here's what it would look like with the if kisses were snowflakes. Oh, that will cover up. Yeah, we won't do that on this one because it'll cover up all the glimmer, but that's a cute one to do. Or you can do a larger die cut like I did here, and I think this is a fun one. May the chill of winter be warmed by your love and friendship. So I am just going to put that on with some adhesive. I'll look at your comments in just a minute. I know they're flying by there, but hang on, please. I just want to finish this up, and then I will check out your comments. So I wanted to show you what I did with some embellishments because I think this turned out kind of fun. These were those blue charming day dots, charming glimmer dots, whatever they were called that I showed you that I didn't have any more blue of. I added those on here. I liked how that turned out. This is almost kind of a favorite. This is a little wild. I used the hexagons because I liked how that blue-green color pulled in the peacock on both the strips and the cardstock. I thought that turned out super pretty. This one I just added the gems down there, but I really like the gems on the snowflake. So let's see if we pulled those flowers back in. Oh, wait, I just had an idea. Hang on. I was wondering about maybe those white stars, but then I was thinking about these snowflakes. Let me find my open package of those because I think I might want to do this instead of flowers, the faceted snowflakes. Let me see what those look like. Oh, I think I'm going to like this. So what if we put them... I'll start with every other and we'll see how that looks. I think it might be a little much if I do it on every single one. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think I love this a lot. Oh yes. Oh yes. I love that a ton. These are so pretty. I think they're kind of a cross between stars and snowflakes, personally. They're called snowflakes, but they kind of have a star quality to them. Isn't it pretty? Oh my goodness. I love that. I'm glad I thought of that one. That's a winner. That is a winner. And this is a winner. The hexagons, I think that's really fun. Well, so is that. Yeah, well, anyway, yes. Oh, and I did use those cute little snowflake star things on these cards too. I did the red ones, and I thought that turned out cute. So hang on one second. Let me check on comments or questions, I guess. Let's see. Snowflakes is making you chilly. Thank you, Gina. I'm glad you like them. Thank you, Lori. Thanks, Judy. Yeah, Robin, I like it lined up too. I think that's the like the engineer part of me. They need to be lined up. Jen says, OMG, Patty, I wish I had the creative brain that you have. These are fabulous. Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Oh, I know. Barbara, I thought the same thing. Not sure if I needed another snowflake set, but yeah, definitely. Love these snowflakes. Oh, thank you, Anne. I'm glad you enjoy watching. Thanks, Sharon. Yes, I love the sparkle. Oh, oh. Thanks, Tammy. I'm glad you like them. You guys are so funny. Oh, Tamara, thank you for joining live. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you all like them. So sweet of you. Hi, Keisha. Yes, Keisha, thank you for that reminder. If you want to do the bell, you get notifications for my lives. So that will be great. And it will be every Friday at 10, just as I have been doing for the last 5 years. But it's just that it's on YouTube instead of Facebook. So, yes. Thank you, everybody. Yes. Thank you, Gina. Far less nervous today. There was just a really, really weird issue when I was doing my YouTube live test on Wednesday, and it just threw me off completely. And I think I've conquered it, and it went smoothly today. And here we are. So I'll just review quickly the accordion cards. Fun, fun, fun. Pick any paper you want to use and have fun with this design. Will be on pattystamps.com on September 20th. So that's Saturday, tomorrow, if you're watching live. And then the strip cards with the snowflakes will all be on my blog on Sunday, September 21st. Links will be in the video description as soon as those posts are live. But if you do need any of the supplies, those are actually all listed on my blog today. So you can go to pattystamps.com anytime to find the supplies, the stamp sets, and all the goodness that we used today. I really appreciate you all hanging in with me and encouraging me. I appreciate you all so much. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I will look forward to another live with you next Friday. I can't even believe that'll be like about the end of September. What? I don't know. I can't comprehend that. Guess I better. But thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for your encouragement. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the cards. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye.